What? Come on. Kisses? Kiss, 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 kiss. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. The video's starting out a little bit differently. I found a whole day's worth of burying the waterline footage, and I don't know how I missed it in the previous video. This was actually day 2, and I decided to put it into this video because it's interesting footage. Greg was doing some sketchy stuff, so I thought you all would enjoy it. And then we will, at the end of the video or halfway through, we'll be back to working on the spring box and updating you all on that. So stay tuned and enjoy the video. It's looking frosty up there today. We've got a cold wind here. Generator's running. We haven't seen the sun still, but the sky is trying to clear up today. We'll see if that actually happens. But Greg and Chase, the excavator operator, are up there. They got started just a little while ago. So I'm gonna head up there and see. I'm gonna take the quad and some water line and see what they're up to. Fire up the quad and look who appears. It's Aspen. She wants to run after the quad. She wants to run after the quad with her friend. Hi. Looks like Greg was trying to push that tree down. But it wasn't successful. Come on, boy! Get out of the way!
Pre-burying the line first. Did you bring the shovel? Oh, nice. Yeah, pre-burying the line so that if nothing impacts it, there's a lot of big rocks. So I put that much on top of it. Let's go.
sunshine. So nice. Such a treat. Making some good progress. Our water line is a little bit wiggy through here, but it is very open and we're not affecting any of the big trees with this route that we've taken. We wanted to be mindful of that. And anything that we've cleared has been shrubs or ferns, and as soon as the spring hits, those will be taking over once again. And these shrubs grow so quickly, so it's coming along nicely. Hi, are you comfy? In the dirt? So he's getting to the steep section now. I can see the roof of the house there, so he's getting close. He's got to go down this hill and then it'll be through our driveway close to the house. Greg is catching up. I think at some point Greg's gonna have to stop because he won't be able to take the tractor down the hill, but we're gonna make some good progress today. What? You want to go play and have fun? Look at your life though. Your life is fun.
But it won't be too bad. Under there, right?
Yeah.
All that rain and all, like, where's the water go?
It goes about 6 inches down and that's it. All right, we just got the excavator through the steep part. He was digging it and we were putting the water line in right away, and then he was backfilling it for each section that the bucket could reach. So that's all good. He's down to the level ground again. Greg's back up here, filling in the trench from above. And he's thinking he might be able to drive down the hill, but we'll have to see how it looks once he gets down there. And yeah, then we're doing a straight shot to the house. Sketchy. don't know how well, or if the camera is picking it up at all, but I've been going down into the trench and just making sure there's no rocks on the water line that are gonna get pushed into the water line. So we're just doing straight soil on top. And then once there's a good layer of the soil, rocks don't matter as much, but I just wanna make sure there's nothing kind of crushing the water line, or it's gonna put a hole in it once there's some extra weight on it. Oy, oy, oy.
That's not too bad.
You got a little deep there.
What's that?
You got a little deep there.
Oh, we're good though.
Gotta get the shot. Gotta get the shot. Mr. Guy. Hi, Izzy.
Connect that properly. I should be able to get a reducer to
Check that out. That's how much line we got left. There's the end of the tank. How's that for winning? Glad we don't have to cut any, or we're not going to be wasting much on this end of the water line. I don't know how well the GoPro is going to pick this up, but look how beautiful that is. Just wispy clouds in the sunshine, some fresh snow. Stunning. I wanted to fly the drone today for some of this, but it's been very windy, so I didn't do it. I didn't want to lose the drone. Hi girls, what's going on? You coming to dig up the dirt? Hi! Hi! Juniper, don't be a menace.
It's December 1st and it's freaking beautiful out. We don't get very much for sunshine very often. What were the batteries at?
Yeah, 1.7 and 2.7 kilowatts.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
what is that?
that's
4 plus 14 is
4.4?
5.4.
5.4. 1.7 and 3.7?
2.7.
4.4. 5.4.
Yeah.
5.4 thousand. Wow, great math, Craig. So we're gonna go down to our water spring and plug in the solar pump because it's actually gonna work today and it's actually gonna be pumping water to our home through the earth, frost protected.
Hopefully. If
Hopefully.
The sun's over there.
If the sun's over there. Let's go. Holy.
How are you gonna do that?
Carefully.
With your hands?
Yeah. Just gotta be careful. Don't touch the thing. It's sparky.
But how do you twist it?
I just do it with the cap.
Oh. Yikes.
I don't know how much power is coming through here, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't make me feel good.
Did it get you?
No.
Oh.
Now, there's water. You hear that? Water's pumping to our home.
It's silent.
I'll have to figure out some sort of way to keep, it doesn't really matter too much. That thing is pumping, holy mackerel.
I hope it's okay.
Look at how quick it's going down.
Mm-hmm. So we're pumping out more than we're getting in, and not sure if that's because the water's slower or we've got the filter on the intake now, which could slow things down. But yeah, we're gonna have some fiddling around to do with this.
So Katie and I are really happy that we have water coming to the house now, but we noticed a problem today. And that problem is we don't have enough flow going to the pump to match the amount of power that the pump is pumping. But while I was installing the line, and we actually didn't get any of this on camera because it was a bit of a struggle to cap it off again, we tapped into a different spring that actually has more flow than our original spring that we're getting water from in the first place. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to build myself, I guess you would call it a sand point. I'm going to take a 4-inch pipe, put a bunch of holes in it, and then have an outlet on it, and I'm going to go dig it into the earth so that the water can infiltrate the pipe, come up and hit an area where we can run a 3/4 inch pipe to our spring box from the other spring. If that doesn't make sense, stay tuned and you'll see. So this is my pipe. I'm going to put this in the ground. I'm going to get my backhoe connected to my tractor because I don't really know how to use that other backhoe that we have right here. Sorry, the other excavator. So I'm going to bring my little backhoe, which jigs little holes down there, and I'm going to dig this into the earth. But in order to dig this into the earth, I need to have holes in it. So I've got this big honking bore bit that hopefully does the trick. We'll see how it works. It's certainly not the right tool for the job, but it might just work. There, one. Scorable Chuck, it's fine.
Wish you had a thumb that worked? What? You wish you had a thumb that worked?
I gotta mess around with the thumb. to tap into this spring. We didn't get this on camera because this was pretty hands-on. We put this homemade sand point in, and it was filling full of water. You can't see anything, but it's not doing nothing. But all of a sudden, this started flowing right here. The water is coming from here somehow, and it's just naturally going into the creek. It's just a little bit, but it's a lot more than there was yesterday. Did we tap this by accident? I don't understand anything about this, as you guys can see. But I think that's where we're gonna leave this project for now. We have running water. All I gotta do is hook up a float switch so that we don't run the pump dry, because the pump runs quicker than the water comes in. So just gotta put a float switch on there, and it should be all good to go. So I'm done playing in the mud now.
I know we're gonna get a ton of questions about this amount of water that's in this hole here as he's pulling out the tank, and we are thinking about adding in an additional catchment in case there's a spring there, but we're just gonna monitor it for a little bit first, because a lot of this water was from when we emptied our spring box and stuff like that, so we're not 100% sure how much of this water is actually coming up from below.
Welcome to my laboratory. So we bought this float switch a while ago. Oh, it works. We bought this float switch a while ago, and I couldn't for the life of me get it to work down at our spring box. So I brought it home and it works. I got it to work here. It must have been just a loose connection or something, but we're gonna put this inside our water containment area where the spring box feeds to, that goes to the pump. And when it's empty, this will turn it off. But when it fills up, this float will go up and it'll go and turn on the pump until it goes past that point, and it'll turn it off. So it will work, and it'll make up for the suboptimal flow of water that's going into our water containment.
We are down at spring. We're going to get the float switch installed. So we got the IBC tote out, and Greg was digging up where they discovered a spring up where the water line is buried. That's not really producing like we thought it would. It must have just been a pocket of water or something. So there's a little bit of a tiny trickle coming in from a different spot, but I guess every little bit counts. But the float switch should solve our problems with the barrel running dry. It'll turn it off when it gets too low, and that'll save our pump, which is good. So once we get that installed, we'll have to see how it works with the power stations, because sometimes the power stations can turn off if they're not being used over a certain amount of time. So it's all going to depend on if the water catchment is filling up before the power station turns off. Hopefully it doesn't. And they usually do have some settings we can mess with as well. So we're gonna have to do a lot of figuring out today, but that's all right. And yeah, then we can get some water pumping. So there are tons of springs that feed into this little gully kind of area. And we've really spent a lot of time over the years trying to figure out the best spot to put everything, because we want to have the most water, but we also can't go too far down the hill, because then we have to pump it all the way up. So we've been using this spot for a number of years now, and it's worked great. But the one thing is we've never pumped the water from here this late in the year. So we've monitored it, but it's hard to tell how much water is going to pump out and all of that. So it's been a learning experience figuring all of this out this late in the year. We find usually the water is pretty high in the summer, but it must kind of go down throughout the winter. And then usually in the spring, it's pretty low as well. And then it seems like by late summer, all of the water from the top of the mountains has made its way down to this little gully. So
can I see something? And the awesome thing about all that is in the summertime, when we need the water, we have the water. So typically when you need water, when you have water, you don't need it. But as soon as you don't have water, you do need it when you're running off of like seasonal springs and whatnot. So the wonderful thing about this is it's such a deep spring that it takes forever for all that water to come, hit the water table, I guess, and then come out through here. So the nice thing about all this is in the summertime, we won't have any issue with the amount of flow of water that we have coming into here because it's basically full flow through a 3/4 inch pipe, pretty much. And that's a lot of water. We can fill one of these 55-gallon drums in about 15 minutes with that. So what our pump can do when it's running full blast, it can't keep up with the water that's coming in the summer. But in the winter time, it is a lot slower, and same with the springtime, half of the spring. That's where our pressure switch our float switch that we're gonna install is gonna work out well for us so that we're not running the pump dry and we're still getting lots of water. We don't need much water. We're not irrigating plants.
Well, we're about to have flush toilets, so.
Yeah, so it's gonna work out fine for us with the amount of water. We probably will in the future try to tap into a few more of these springs and get them routed to the spring box. We've been unsuccessful so far, but yeah, we're gonna get into it later on. But for now, everything's gonna work for us. I messed up. Just a second. I gotta route this through that hole.
Color combination.
Blue and red is power. Does that make sense?
There was another one that was red too.
Oh, no.
Blue, white, and red was red?
I don't know. I just know what I tested this morning was right. And that's this. There's a yellow one in there, but that's for discharging a tank. It's the opposite. It does the opposite. It switches the polarity in the switch.
These Chinese devices have different colored cables.
So when we bought this cheap Amazon float switch, the manual was in English, but not really. It was as hard to read as possible. And yeah, we had to do some figuring out to figure out how to actually use the float switch, which is a very simple device. But the colors on the wires were different than what was in the manual.
And what you would have in Canada, right?
And what you would have in Canada. Yeah, so we just had to figure it out. But we got it figured out this morning. Zipper timing. That's gonna have to work. We're not gonna be able to bury that, I guess, eh?
So Greg has gone up to the solar panel and he's got the power station. We're gonna do a test run, and I guess might as well fill up our cistern while we're at it. We'll do a test run and get this float switch all configured to the right length to have it turning off at the right time. I've been trying to convince Greg to put another blue barrel right here because there is some water coming in from the bank there and I can see it trickling down. It's not much, but at this point I think anything going in here would be a big help so we can avoid this barrel running dry and actually having to use the float switch. If we could just have enough water coming in as what's going out, then we'd be in a really good position, because it's going to take longer, probably double the time, to fill the cistern if it's turning on and off and refilling the barrel constantly. Someone was asking about our neighbor's water source and if he has a well or if it's the same as us. He's got a spring box as well, but it's a different area, kind of up above his house. And I think he's got more flow than us, not by much, not enough to share with us. He did share with us our first 2 years out here, or 1.5 years or something like that. And it was definitely challenging because there were times when the bear would bite the line and then it would drain all the water, and then nobody had water. And we have a cistern for storage, but he doesn't have that. He has a smaller sort of cistern at his spring. Essentially his spring box is bigger and it just goes to his house gravity. So it was challenging. We're grateful that he shared with us, but it was not going to be suitable for a long-term solution. And that's why we were developing this. Plus our property had this water license already linked to it. So here in British Columbia, maybe all of Canada, I'm not sure. But at least in BC, you have to have a water license to get the water. This isn't on our property, so there was already plans for this development of the water line to our house. It just hadn't been installed yet, so we did the work. It's an annual fee of, I think it's $100 a year. Water is a tricky one for us, but this will get us by. No. No.
Switch working properly.
Yeah. But it's still only pumping 40 watts?
50 watts.
Huh?
Yeah, now I know that it's got a lot push because it's now pushing all the water up the line.
Yeah.
So what I suggest we do is we go back. We grab the U-Green's charging right now, and I know the U-Green works good for this.
Okay.
And I'll also bring the AC to DC because I like using that better anyway. Is it pumping more than what is going into it right now?
Well, it's not discharging anymore, but I think it's kind of it's staying level just below. We always get asked about rainwater collection as well, and the reason we haven't done it yet is because Greg doesn't want to. He says the juice isn't worth the squeeze. So I'm still working on him on that one.
Katie.
Our flat roof.
Katie, I'm the one squeezing the juice. Me.
Well, it's pretty much ready to go. All we need is a tank in the ground. In the summer, we don't get rain for like 4 months, and it's 40 degrees Celsius. So we would need a shitload of storage tanks to make it through the summer. We do have good water here in the summer, and we also have that gravity fed spot in the spring. That's really nice. I guess right now we could be collecting rainwater, but it's a short window that we would be collecting it, and it would be useful. So yeah, we just haven't got to it yet. Greg doesn't want to. I'm still working on him. We do usually put buckets under the gutters for the barn for the animal water, but it would be nice to have some more storage there. We have a lot of needles and stuff falling off the trees that would need to get cleaned out of the water, and the flat roof deck upstairs, we don't want to be collecting rainwater off of that because it is torch on, so you'd be getting a lot of chemicals and stuff leaching into the water, so that's not viable. There's a lot more collection space now that we have the addition build, so I guess that's my ammo to getting Greg to doing it. Hey guys! You having fun over here? Whoa. We are going to bury the line going into the pump barrel now, and then we've also got some supplies to build an insulated cover. I'm not exactly sure what the plan is for building that yet, but we want to just hold the heat in the ground. We don't want the barrels to freeze. So we have had the 55-gallon barrel above ground freeze solid. So now that it's buried, we're going to bury it a bit more as well. But now that it's in the actual creek bed, it should be fine because the creek doesn't freeze completely over. And with the insulation on it, it should be good to go. And then we'll also cover the catchment spring box as well. And that's the plan.
Well, I'm over that already. See? Maybe I can get to the dirt underneath it. Put that right there. Considering my boots are the only thing going into the earth with ease. Should have brought a better knife. I mean, this is a good knife, but so here's my plan. I'm going to put this on top of the water, which is going to insulate the top of the water. The water underneath won't freeze because geothermal heat will keep it warm enough to not freeze. My intake will be underneath this, so this should be the most efficient way to keep the water from freezing. I guess we'll find out this winter.
Plywood on top?
I guess, yeah. I was thinking of putting a piece of plywood right here too, but like, I want to be able to pull this in and out to do service, to change out the filter and stuff. I mean,
you could take that end piece and just prop it inside.
What end piece?
The one you just cut off.
And just prop
it. To block that air from going in.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There. You going long ways?
Yeah. I mean, just like this. My patience today is gone. I'm being nice to the camera, but I'm in real world. I just don't want to murder. I just don't want to step in the mud. I don't want to be screwing on a hill.
Make sure it's square.
Katie, I can't. Don't.
All right, we have got a functional spring box before the winter hits, which is a huge win. We're starting to lose daylight, so that we're gonna call it a day, I think. Really happy to have this project wrapped up. You don't have to be mucking around in this muck anymore. It's really hard to walk around here. You're always slipping around or your boots getting sucked in. So a couple more months, once spring hits, this will be overgrown again. And yeah, we're gonna wrap up the video here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Okay, are we full, Katie? We're getting there. It's still coming in.
When is it gonna stop when it like hits the intake? Is it gonna keep going?
It'll overflow. Yeah.